This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Las Vegas here ahead of Canelo versus Jacobs. I'm joined by Carl Froch.
Everyone had the shades on today, didn't they? Everyone had the shades on, so I thought I'd slip mine on. But yeah, I can't keep that up. What's cracking, mate? You all right?
All good, mate. You're looking very well as always, Carl. Enjoying Vegas?
Yeah, it's not bad. Bit of a lonely place when you're out here on your own. Just met with a couple of the Sky team, so don't know. We've got a few plans, I think, for later after this presser. But I'm tired, mate. Jet lagged. Jet lag's a bitch. 3 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. What do you do at 3 in the morning on your own?
Weird enough, I got up at 3 a.m.
In your bedroom, what do you do? What do you do?
I get up, I go downstairs, walk around and come back up and go back to bed.
You didn't go to the gym like me, then?
I was in the gym today with Eddie, actually.
I tell you what, I was in there with Miguel Cotto earlier, having a little chat. Bit of Spanish, bit of English.
What's your thoughts on this fight? Excited for Canelo-Jacobs, obviously live on Sky Sports and DAZN here in the US?
I am actually really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good fight, cracking one actually. I just, if you're saying to me who's going to win the fight, I've just got to say Canelo Alvarez in a close fight on points. But you can't really be unfair or you can't really write Jacobs off because he's the natural middleweight. I don't know, I don't want to say he's past his best, but he's not looked great in his last couple of fights. I thought he beat Golovkin as well in a close fight. So it's a tough one, but I just think that Alvarez, he's got that age, what is he, 28, 50-odd fights, and I think he's going to be around for a long time, even though he's been around for a long time. I just think he's got 3 or 4 more years left at the top, and he's getting better and better. He's really maturing now, and he knows where he is as an established pro. So Daniel Jacobs going to give him a big fight, a big test. But I just think Canelo, for me, edges it. I don't think anyone gets stopped, though. I think it's going to be a tough night. Tough night's work for both of them.
It's mad to think Canelo's 28, had 54 professional fights, and it's mad to think that, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Turned pro at something like 15 now, and has obviously been really busy. And the standout fight for me, I mean, he's fought everyone. He's had some great fights. Fought Mayweather, lost to Mayweather, but the draw of Golovkin probably was a flattering draw for him. The rematch, I thought he won the fight, close, but I thought he won it. And yeah, what a career! 54 fights, 28 years old, and I just think there's a few more years left in the tank for him. He's got that little stain on his reputation with the old contaminated meat. It's not ideal, is it? Because people do talk about that. It is a talking point, and he looks physically so good. And there's a lot of with what's happened with Jerome Miller, it's a bit of a pain in the arse, isn't it? It's bad for the sport, and it really can leave a long-lasting negative impact. I don't think Canelo's ruined his reputation at all, but just with that in mind, I just think it's there, and you just think, why? But he's done it. He's got through that now. He's had his ban, and he's back. And I think that he's top fighter, as is Danny Jacobs. This is a great fight, and I think I've already said, I think Canelo Alvarez just does enough to win.
I mean, just coming onto this PEDS situation, what is the long-term or even the short-term solution to this? Because there doesn't seem to be one, and it seems like quite every other week or every once a month or something, somebody's failing a drugs test. So what is the answer to it? Or is that really not a question that anyone can answer right now?
Yeah, I think the only answer to that question is that the drug testing officials, in England we've got the UKIP, yeah, and the amateurs, you've got the British Olympic Association, got their individual drug testing people. You've got VADA now. It's a bit of a confusion. I'm not sure about the VADA because I think you have to enrol for that. And I'm not sure if that's a blood test or not, and there's an exemption for certain drugs if you take them medically or if they're prescribed. So I don't know, there's a bit of a grey area. But I think the way to resolve it is the way it's being dealt with now. People are getting busted. If you're taking drugs, if you're taking PEDS to enhance your performance, then you should know that actually you're probably going to get caught out now. You know what I mean? Alvarez failed a drug test. I know he said it was contamination of whatever he'd eaten. But Jerome Miller recently, he got heavily busted, didn't he? I mean, three failed tests. And without going through all the names, people in the past, they're getting caught. So I think people now, if they are using drugs, but it's getting more and more sophisticated, it's getting more scientific. And when they're not in training camp, they're not being tested, so they can take stuff on the build-up to camp. There's cycles in the way they take the drugs. And like I said, the science behind it's getting better now. So it's a shame. You'd rather it just be a level playing field and just be like the weightlifting and just say, you can all take drugs. You can all take performance-enhancing drugs. All take steroids. So it's a level playing field. But it's like, who's then taking the best drugs then? And how much you're taking? And do you know what I mean? Start getting muscles on muscles. So it needs to be an anti-drug sport. It really does. It just needs to be officiated. And the testing needs to be strict. But I think the answer, I thought I'd give you the answer, but I'll give you another one. I think the answer might be getting better than a 3-month or a 6-month ban, actually. I mean, that could be better. Threatening you with a lifetime ban or a 2-year ban, something that's going to really affect your career and affect your pocket. These fighters are fighting for money, and if you start hitting them in the pocket and taking money off them, then hopefully they think twice about it. We've got a bit of action in the background. Do you want to pan around and see what's going off, or we? Let's have a look. I don't quite know what's going off here. There's a bit of a push and a shove on the stage. Who's that? Who's the kid with the green hair? He was on the. It's not Virgil Ortiz. Joseph Diaz Jr. So Joe Jr. He's having a right go. Really good speaker against his opponent here. They had a bit of a push and a shove on the stage. They're getting really close. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just all verbal diarrhea at the minute. There's no fisticuffs, as they say. We want a bit of action, don't we?
No pushing and pulling.
No pushing and pulling. Eddie Hearn stepping in now. Let's have a look. Let's get back to the action. Eddie Hearn stepping in there with his side parting. Not sure if that's, what is that? Is that a hairpiece, or is that just is that a bit of crafty comb in there? He's not got the vantage point with the light, but he looks strong. I think he's cooled it down. Eddie Hearn steps in, and he's called the situation. Well done to Eddie. Do you want to cut the bit out about the hairpiece? No, it's a bit strong, wasn't it?
You know we're leaving that in, Carl. Carl, I think it's calmed down now anyway. But Andy Ruiz was announced as Joshua's replacement opponent for June the 1st. Your thoughts on Andy Ruiz being the opponent? We know first choice would have been Luis Ortiz, but his team turned down a $7 million offer. But it is Andy Ruiz. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, everyone's talking about Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and them fighters they're tied up, they're busy. The heavyweight division isn't stacked with top quality heavyweights. It just isn't. It hasn't been for the last 6 or 7 years. AJ is the best of the pack as far as I'm concerned. He's the main man. And he is willing to fight people. Regardless of the politics and the splits and the money and whatever, he's willing to fight them. And them fights are not happening because Eddie Hearn's doing something wrong or because AJ don't want the fights or Rob McCracken, his coach, have all of a sudden decided they don't want to take any risks. The fighters are not available for him. So Jerome Miller fails a drug test. That was a fight. That was a mandatory position. Fails a drug test. He's out. Who's going to step in at late notice? I mean, I think the John Ruiz fight,
Andy Ruiz
is a better fight. Is a better fight than Jerome Miller. I really do.
You believe it's a tougher fight?
I think it's probably a tougher fight. I really do. I just think that he lost that close decision to Joseph Parker, and he looked good in that fight. He's got fast hands. He's busy for 12 rounds. He don't look in good shape. You look at him on the scales, it looks like a bit of a fat blob. But actually, he's just boxed and he's gone straight back into training for this fight. So I'm quite pleased with the opponent, to be honest. But I do think it's going to be a bit of a one-sided whooping because I just think AJ's that good. So I'm not going to lie and say I think he's going to win. I don't think Ruiz can win. I just don't think he can. I think AJ's too good. But this, for me, is a good enough late replacement.
Why would Luis Ortiz, kind of at the age Ortiz is at, his team turned down $7 million to fight Anthony Joshua at roughly 6.5 weeks notice? Why would they do that?
Well, it came unexpectedly, didn't it? And I was talking earlier about. No, I better not say what I was going to say then. I'll tell you after. It's probably just wrong timing for him. The timing's wrong. So you don't know exactly what's behind their decision. Maybe they think that fight in the future will come on. They'll get paid more if they've got other options. Fight, then set that up for a big payday. But he's getting old. But he'll have his reasons. And it's not for me to speculate.
Can I not ask you what you're implying?
No. Well, you can ask me, but you won't get an answer.
Fair enough. Okay, you're entitled to that. Well, listen, it's not Ortiz. It is going to be Ruiz, and yeah, at June the 1st, the show must go on.
Yeah, it would have been a shame for AJ to not fight. If the AJ fight would have not happened, I think the fans would have been more annoyed and more frustrated. So we'll get to see AJ now. The Americans get to see him in a credible enough opponent, and then just got to move on from that and look forward to it. Look forward to the future.